This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today we're going to get deep into the collector's weeds because we're going to look at how well various vendors pack those discs that we order online and that we've spent our hard-earned money on. Let's check it out. First of all, I want to say my apologies to anybody watching this if you're living outside the US, because I don't know if all the vendors ship overseas. I know some of them do, some are overseas, so that's just a little warning there. Secondly, I'm not here to trash any vendors. My goal is to be a consumer advocate for you. In fact, I like to think that most, if not all, of my videos are to be a consumer advocate for you. And maybe you've considered ordering from some of these companies before, and hopefully this will help you make that decision whether it's a good move or not. Also, I'm not going to focus on prices in this episode. I think you already know how to compare prices, how to shop around. Some of these smaller vendors, usually the prices are pretty much the same unless they're having a certain sale on a label or a couple of different labels. And then instead, I'm going to address how well each of these vendors package their discs so that when they arrive on your doorstep, they're not totally thrashed. We're going to start with what I consider the least reliable vendors in my experience. It just varies, and I'm going to begin with the big one, Amazon. I don't like to order from them if I can help it, but once in a while I do, and I got various Kino discs because the Barnes & Noble Kino sale, Barnes & Noble was out online, so I wanted to get them before the sale was over, 50% off. And I got various things came in this packaging, which I think is pretty flimsy. I don't know, there's not a whole lot of padding here. They were all okay, except for one disc, and that was this one, this Kino disc on Sci-Fi Chillers. Now this is the replacement, but the one that originally came with about 5 other items in that package I showed you were fine, but this one, the shrink wrap was all really loose on this. The top of this was entirely open, like somebody had looked at the disc and put it back. One of the discs was loose. This on top, this slipcover was totally frayed, like it had been bounced around or something. And I'm not real picky about slipcovers or anything like that, but I thought that was kind of ridiculous. I think it's a little overpriced anyways, this one, even at half price. But I returned it. Amazon gave me this new one in about a week, which is not too bad. And the new one came in a similar package from Amazon like this, which is very similar. Just very thin, not a whole lot of padding to it, but it came in good shape, fortunately. And with Amazon, like I said, I never know what to expect when I'm going to order discs from them. Quite a while ago, I ordered this Shaw Scope Volume 2 from Amazon because it was 50% off. I thought, I don't know if this how this is going to show up. Is it going to be banged up or what? 'Cause it's pretty big and pretty heavy. This was really well packaged. I've never seen them package anything so good. It was a solid package. I'm wondering if maybe it came from Arrow directly and they packaged it, or somebody else did, but somebody did a really good one with that. Next up, I ordered directly from Barnes & Noble, and similar to that Amazon packaging, pretty thin. There's a little bit of bubble wrap here, but it's still pretty flimsy. There were a few things in here that showed up. They were all in good shape. The good thing about Barnes & Noble is, of course, if you have a store near you, you can return them right to the store instead of dealing with the mail and all that. But then one was coming a little bit later, and it showed up by itself. Again, similar packaging, but smaller. It was one item, and that was the latest Film Noir Dark Side of the Cinema box. And if you can tell, it was kind of banged up here a little bit. Down here, down here. The bottom was banged. I straightened this out a little bit. So this is, like I said, I'm not that picky, so it's not enough for me to send it back to the store. But if you're real picky about that, be aware, you know, this thing being in this package, pretty tight fit in there, it got a little bit of a damage to it. Another vendor I really like to avoid is Deep Discount. And they often have all kinds of specials. They have coupons in there for 10% off, 15% off. But I got a disc from them once. It had a slipcover on it, and this thing was just thrashed. I mean, that slipcover looked like somebody stepped on it or something. The disc cover itself was the whole thing was a mess. But trying to return that and get a refund for that took 1 or 2 months. I even had to call them, and there's no manager I had to talk to the manager after a while, and nobody talked. It sounded like a really weird operation going on there. So I try to avoid deep discount. Now they do have something on there called a blowout bin, and once they had several imprint discs at the blowout bin for I think 50% off, which is good because those discs are really overpriced, like 20 bucks each, 30 bucks each usually. So I ordered about 5, wondering how are these going to show up, what condition are they going to be in from deep discount. They came in just a regular cardboard box. There was no padding, not even any crumpled up paper to pad the impact or anything. They're just sitting in the box loose. Somehow they were all okay, but that was not too impressive. And then finally, ordering right from Criterion has been okay. I just had one kind of glitch, and they're really good with customer service. I emailed them. They're very cooperative, very friendly, very polite. And just one glitch I have, and I ordered like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 discs once. And that was, this came in the box with the other discs in the heat of the night. There was no shrink wrap on here at all. And this sticker here was stuck directly onto this cover here. Instead of, usually it's stuck on the shrink wrap, and when you pull the shrink wrap off, that comes off too. But that was kind of odd, I thought, to have an open disc in there with the sticker, but I think it came out okay. Now let's move on to something more positive. The 3 vendors I feel are, in my experience, the most reliable. That would be Orbit DVD, Diabolic DVD, and Grindhouse. They are consistently well packed. The good customer service on the rare occasions when I've contacted them through email, they get back quickly, very cooperative, very polite. And I'll give you an example I just received from Orbit DVD. It was packaged like this. It was the new Neo Noir box from Imprint, so there was some bubble wrap on top, and then inside, I already unwrapped this, but it was wrapped up in bubble wrap like this all around. So good job by Orbit DVD, perfect condition, no problem whatsoever. And I'll probably be talking about this one on a future episode. Now, according to a longtime subscriber of this channel, Jarvis, he says that 2 other companies he's had good experience with, those being Groove and Hamilton Books. He said especially package their things very well, and so I'm going to take his word on that. Now, as far as ordering directly from labels, I had some issues ordering from Imprint. They're in Australia, so going from there to the US, you know, it's kind of a miracle it even shows up sometimes. But in another video, I went into more detail about a problem I had. But basically, out of 2 packages, one bounced around Australia, never got here until finally it did. And then there was 1 disc missing. Email follow-up is kind of weird. There's a time change. You got to allow for that. And then the guy answering the emails wasn't quite sure what I was talking about, but it all worked out in the end. But I would be hesitant to order from Imprint again, at least from such a great distance. I don't recall any problems ordering directly from Indicator or from Kino or from Shout Factory. I did get something from Radiance directly in the UK. There were 3 discs, and it showed up in this box, and I thought, ooh, this doesn't look very good. There was some tape here and some tape here, but it was like totally exposed. I thought, oh my gosh, this thing came all the way from the UK here. It's gonna be a mess. But I opened it up, and there were 3 discs in here, and they're not here now, but there were 3 discs in here. But look how flimsy this looks. I'm surprised it got here in such a good shape, but it was packaged with some bubble wrap, and they got here fine. So Radiance was no problem. I was surprised that all those 3 discs were intact. No problem at all. So Hopefully this helped you. Leave a comment below if you'd like to, if you had any experience with any of these vendors or other ones you'd like to recommend. I did deal with import CDs once, but I don't recall how well the packaging was. But I didn't put it on my nice list, so I probably had some problems with it. Even though, like I said, I'm really not picky about this stuff. They just got to pack it the right way, that's all. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribing is free. Also free as we're on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link down below to get to us. That's where we leave brief written reviews of other things we're watching that we don't talk about here. Most recently, Conan the Destroyer and OC and Stigs. So check out those reviews. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.